You're welcome back. You're still watching Expressive Show. If you just joined us, you've missed our first interview, but we're going to talk about something interesting on the show. Well, they say trees can be labeled one of man's dependents to life. And without trees, it is doubtful that man will be able to survive even for a second on the environment. This, however, leads to the famous adage, when the last tree dies, the last man dies. Today we discuss the depletion of the country's forestry and emerging wood species. And my guest is Mr. Gustav Adu, who is the Executive Director, Kumasi Wood Cluster, and Mr. Peter Zomelo, Director of Operations for Timber Industry Development Division of the Forestry Commission. Welcome, gentlemen. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are happy to be
Mr.
with you.
Gustav, I love your name.
Yes. The name was given to me incidentally by my grandfather.
Oh, really?
And I wish he could have explained to me how he got the name before he died.
Have you passed the name on to somebody else?
Interestingly, my nephews are taking the name.
Good to have you here, Mr. Zomelo.
Thank you, Jackie. Nice meeting you, and I'm pleased to be on your program today.
I'm honored to have both of you here as well to throw more light on the issue of trees, afforestation, deforestation. We are interested in it. But I mean, can you paint a picture of the impact of the over-exploitation of common species such as sapele, mahogany, wawa, is it Odum? Yes. I mean, people use it a lot and we are over exploiting it.
You're right. Until about a decade ago, if you were building and you went to the market to look for wood to use, you would ask for Odum.
Absolutely.
You would ask for sapele. Interesting today, you may not just see Odum on the market. If you cast your mind around, you would see that this time people are even the common things, they are using metal as part of building material rather than the normal wood that they have been using. This gives you the impression that there is a challenge in the availability of these wood species. And as a result, where you look for timber, it's even encroaching places where ordinarily, like the reserves and then on the farms and so on. And it's introduced illegal action into getting wood. So gradually, looking for wood is becoming a challenge for the ordinary person. And that's why we want to talk about this subject today.
Why is it becoming a challenge? I mean, are there no woods in Ghana anymore?
No, there are woods. You know, Forestry Commission, our main concern is to protect and sustainably manage our forest reserves.
Right.
The issue is that over the years, Ghanaians have developed a taste for some specific timber species.
Right.
The forest has over 700, forest in Ghana has over 700 different species, about 740 species. Currently, we are exploiting about 102 or 104 trees out of the 700.
Wow.
And you also realize that out of this a wide range of species, the focus over the years has been on about 6 or 8 species. As you mentioned, sapele, mahogany, Odum, and Italy, Macquarie. These are called the prime species.
Right.
And over time, they are getting depleted. But that does not mean that our forest is getting depleted.
Right.
What actually happens is that the Forestry Commission, we allocate forest concessions or forest rights on a formula basis, which we call the annual allowable cut.
Right.
So we calculate and estimate the volume of timber that can be taken, that on its own naturally will regenerate and replace those ones. But when these yields are given, you realize that people, the timber contractors and operators do selective felling, and they go in for between
Just the
30, the ones, and you cannot blame them. This is what the market outside wants. Trade in timber is market driven, demand driven.
Right.
So they will go in for this. So we have devised methods or a policy which we called, 100% yield removal, to ensure that after you take all these ones and what is left, you also have to what? Remove those ones so that it can be used. And these ones, or what we call the residual yields, are what capture the lesser known or the lesser used timber species, which we are promoting now into the market.
Are these some of the solutions?
Yes, it's
Because
one of the several
we all
interventions.
know that timber is an integral part of our construction in this country. We cannot do away with it, but how do we find solutions and also, protect our forest and satisfy the demands of the people as well?
So the solutions are to make what is available suitable for the purpose.
Right.
So that you don't misuse it and then throw the material away. Because the more you waste it, the more you go back to the forest to take it. So if you know how to use it appropriately, it will help conserve it. Additionally, we are making effort to even replenish the forest itself through plantation development.
Right.
Several new species are coming up, which are also good enough for purpose, provided we know their qualities and then use them appropriately.
Right.
So we are doing a lot of information sharing. A lot of research information already exists as to how to use this wood, or even to look at their similarities and so on. Information is not available to the ordinary consumer. It's not available to the contractor. It's not available maybe to the engineer or the architect. So all this data and information are now being brought together and then packaged so that it can help us use our materials appropriately and not waste it.
What are some of these lesser used timber, so to speak, and why are they lesser used? Are they low quality?
Yeah, thank you, Jackie, for the question. Yes, there are a wide range of species that we can describe as lesser known or lesser used. They are sometimes used interchangeably, but basically they mean the same thing.
Right.
The lesser known are what we don't know too much about. But through research with collaboration with research institutions like the Forestry Research Institute of Ghana, FORIG, which is part of the CSIR, we have conducted a lot of research and know the physical and the mechanical properties of these lesser known species. So now most of them can be described as lesser used.
Right.
And what we are doing now is using trade promotion to bring all these species into the limelight. They have a lot of similarities to what we
People
already
know.
know. Yes, in fact, a lot of them. Some of the species I can name are Chroma, Watapo, Sinro, Kumnini, and the likes. There are a wide range of them.
Are they good enough?
They are very good, except that some of them have some little technical challenges. For example, in drying, you are using conventional method in drying, and they don't dry accurately using the drying schedules that we know. So you have to devise ways and means.
Right.
Some of them also have some repugnant or pungent scents or odor, which when you are using in an enclosed area, become more of a disincentive. But this can be treated chemically, so that they, address these challenges.
Right.
And then when they are, timber can also be subjected to treatment we call thermoplasticization. You take it through a heating process, and then it stabilizes the grain,
Right.
so that it becomes as strong and firm as the Odum and the Dahoma
Right.
that we already know. So these are all efforts that the Forestry Commission, in collaboration with the Kumasi Wood Cluster and then the Chamber of Construction Industry, are working together to promote these species on the local market.
You know, creating awareness
Yes, correct.
about these lesser known or lesser used timber. But finally, before we go, is there anything you'd want to tell us, compel us to use these ones? And also, are there activities planned out for your activation or your, you know, awareness?
Yes, for some 6 years now, we've identified the Chamber for Construction Industry. That is the built industry, our architects, our surveyors, our road contractors, real estate developers. These are the large consumers of timber and timber products. So we have been after compiling all this data, we have been giving them training, and then meeting with them to discuss how they can use this. And they have been using them for their roofing, furniture, outdoor use, and so on. And then as real estate development expands, we are going to use more and more of these species. So we have to get them to use them right. Then, haven't done so, and haven't given them the information compiled in booklet forms and then apps for their convenient use on the field. The next thing we want to do is that they should see practically, like Peter said, how these wood species have been treated before being put to use to produce beds, before being used to produce furniture and so on. Some of the wood, the way they ordinarily
they're different, they're peculiar.
Even staining them, even steaming them, that they do change their appeals and so on. So these are the things that we are bringing everybody on board as an exhibition for the next 2 days, starting from tomorrow, 12th and 13th, at Erata Hotel in Accra here. This exhibition will be mounted, and then we are bringing the public as well as the resource persons and so on. There would be policy also necessary to influence the direction of this. So we'll be doing all this discussion.
So it starts today?
It starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
So tomorrow and Thursday,
Correct.
Erata Hotel.
Correct.
What time does it start?
It starts 9 o'clock every morning.
9 a.m.
And then it takes us to about 4 p.m. each of the days.
So make sure you join in, especially if you are in that space.